Hello, welcome back to Mark's House and Garden UK. I'm by the wildlife pond, and today I've made a very exciting discovery. I made this wildlife pond, I dug it by hand. It's been in since June last year, so it's not even been in a year yet. It's already looking very established. I'm very pleased with it. The intention with this wildlife pond was clearly to encourage wildlife to the garden. But one of the main things I wanted to encourage was frogs, toads and newts, amphibians. I know I've got toads and newts in my garden because in the process of doing gardening I've uncovered them and discovered them. But I want to see them in the water. Now, I've still not seen frogs or toads or newts in the water. It's March the 18th. So it's still very, very early spring. In fact, I don't even think it's actually technically spring yet. But today I've seen evidence of amphibian life in this corner of my garden, the wildlife corner. Incidentally, if you've been following my channel, you'll know that I'm expanding the wildlife garden and turning it into a Jurassic jungle garden. So I've dug 3 additional ponds. These are the ponds around the periphery of the path here. We've got a path which we'll be able to walk through. I've also started collecting plants. I've got a rheum, I've got some arum lilies. I bought this yesterday, which is a Schefflera. Great for a jungle garden. I've got some photinias there which are going to go on the outside of the mounds and add some winter colour. I've bought these beautiful little Fatsia green fingers, slightly different to the Fatsia japonica. They're going to go in my jungle garden. I've got another Fatsia here as well, which is a spider's web, which has got a lovely kind of variegated leaf. And I've got some ferns. I've also got a rheum and some gunnera, and they're all going to be planted into those mounds. But I digress, because the purpose of this video is to share with you some images of the toad spawn which I found in my wildlife pond. Now, you can tell the difference between frog spawn and toad spawn and newt spawn. You will probably be familiar with frog spawn. It has kind of a great big mass, a big jelly-like blob, and all that sort of sits in the pond and floats around and forms a ball almost the size of a football sometimes. Newts, they lay their spawn on the underside of leaves, and they lay individual little eggs and they fold the leaf over, which is why if you want to encourage newts into your wildlife pond, there's certain types of pond plant that you should go for. For example, there's one here called brook lime, which has the perfect leaf for newts to fold over around its individual singular eggs. Toads lay strings of eggs, and it's those strings which I've identified in the pond over here, and I'll be showing you some footage of them now. They're like a long string and it's got hundreds of little black dots in it, and that is toad spawn, and that's how you can identify toad spawn. Now, many of those little toad spawns will not survive. That's why they lay so many. It's a numbers game. I don't know what the actual statistic is, but I would imagine 1 in 1,000 of those will turn into an adult toad. In the pond here, in the water, there are pond skaters and water beetles. They'll eat some of them. And then the tadpoles will hatch and they'll be predated by other types of nymphs and larvae. But ultimately, a couple of those will survive and become adult toads. And that's what toad spawn looks like. It looks like a string. Now, I didn't see the toads laying that spawn, but it's piqued my interest. So I wonder when that happened. Did it happen at night? So should I come out this evening when it goes dark with a torch and a camera and see if I can get some footage of the toads doing their work, laying their spawn in the night? I'm going to do that this evening. If it stays dry, I'll come out here with a camera and I will put some footage on my YouTube channel if I see anything. If I do see anything, I'll put a link at the end of this one so that you can see what I discover. I'm hoping very soon that I will come out here one day and see a newt in the water. I have seen newts in ponds during the daylight hours, so they do go into ponds. I think the misconception with amphibians is that they spend most of their life in the water. In actual fact, they only really go in the water mid to late spring to breed and lay the spawn. So there we go. Hope you found that as exciting as I have. Toad spawn in my wildlife pond, which is not even yet a year old. The pond liner for the other 3 canal type ponds around the edge is on order. I'm going to Pond Keeper again for that. Pond Keeper supplied the pond liner for this, and they also supplied me with a solar pond pump, so they've got my loyalty now, Pond Keeper. I'm going to go to Pond Keeper for the pond liners. For the other 3 ponds, I'll put the link to Pond Keeper in the description box below this video. The other ponds, whereas this does not have any fish in it, because I want to protect the toad spawn and the frog spawn and the newt spawn from fish which would eat it, the other ponds, which you can see around the periphery, are going to have fish. I'm going to go for some native UK species of fish. So for example, I might have some tench in there, or I might have some carp, some common carp, possibly even some roach or rudd, or some predatory fish like perch. I don't think I'll go for a pike, so I'll put a pike in it, I'll eat all the other ones. But anyway, that's my plan. And the plants which I've just described to you will all be planted into those mounds until eventually this becomes like a theatre in the round. And the wildlife pond here will be the centre of the stage, and there'll be like this sort of separated off part of the garden, like a garden room. And then up there, where the camera is, I'm going to build a deck. And I'll be sharing this all with you in my videos on my channel. Hope you've enjoyed that. Hope you're as excited about it as I am. Very excited about spring. And I'll see you soon for some more wildlife Jurassic jungle adventures. Bye for now.